What's up, everybody? All the organ transplant conspiracies that are going on right now, I think you guys need to be informed. This is news to know. I'm Jody. This is right here for you. Check this out. This is Dr. Bond. Paul right here. Check it out for you.
Who brain death is a lie. So people don't even realize it's a lie anymore. But it's been a lie from the beginning, continues to be a lie. They invented brain death mainly to get organs, but then also so they don't waste money on treating people who aren't ever going to get a job, who are just going to live and not die. And so you see what brain death is, it's primarily a way to get organs. You cannot get any organs from a cadaver. Every organ that's transplanted is a healthy organ, and you can only get healthy organs from living persons. You cannot get any organs for transplant from a cadaver.
I want to tell you guys, check this out. Dr. Bond is a board certified neonatal doctor. He helped establish neonatal intensive care units in the United States during the 1960s. He advocated for premature infants at a time when few thought that they really could survive. He took the time to make people understand that brain death, is a term that was invented. He is one of the most outspoken medical critics of the brain death as a legitimate definition of the death. He argues that it's a manufactured term used to justify harvesting organs from people who are still biologically alive. And more importantly, about organ harvesting, that's all in the news, all on TikToks right now. Dr. Bond insists that many organ transplants require a beating heart, a living donor, meaning donors declared brain dead are often still alive when the organs are removed. He has testified in courts and legislators against this practice, and he's given some information they can need to know. Let's delve back in. Remember to like, share, subscribe, ring my bell.
The things I'm telling you is that you are not allowed to hear, because if you hear it, you will be upset, as all three of you are upset. And rightly so, you should be upset. Whose organs do they want? Certainly from all children, but especially the people who are 16 to 30, and their life is in jeopardy. If they're unconscious and on a ventilator, they're going to get their organs. Everybody
who's called. So I just thought I'd let you know that as an author, as a speaker, he co-authored Beyond Brain Death and produced the film Continuum of Life. Check these out. Look at them. I'll put the links somewhere. Check it out. These works challenge the mainstream medical ethics around death, determination, and transplantation. Just need you to know this. A medical ethical advocate. He founded the Life Guardian Foundation to protect patients, especially the elderly, brain injured, or the vulnerable, from being prematurely declared dead. All for organ procurement. And keep that in mind. That's going on right now. A lot of people consider him a whistleblower. He has a legacy. Dr. Bond has testified before the United States Congress and various state legislators. He has served as a truth teller against what he calls the medical industrial complex. Let that sink in. The medical industrial complex. Often at great personal cost in his own life. So just keep that in mind. We'll give a finish here and we'll turn you on to something else. Check this out.
Brain death has a beating heart, circulation, and respiration. If they didn't have that, you wouldn't have to call him brain death. You could call him death. Brain death is a lie. So people don't even...
So keep that in mind, you guys. It's very important that you understand that Dr. Bond, he currently resides in Vancouver, Washington, where he leads the Life Guardian Foundation to this day. He continues writing, he continues speaking and counseling families on their end-of-life decisions. And I want to let people know, I was just in North Carolina the other day speaking. I want to let you know that he will be returning to North Carolina. He will speak at Our Lady Lourdes Catholic Church. If I'm butchering that, that's what I do. It's a church in Raleigh, North Carolina. So guys, check it out. Come Wednesday, July 30th, 2025, 7 o'clock p.m. The topic's going to be truth, death, or brain death. And the address is going to be down in my bio. The admission's free. Donations are accepted, but it is free, and the tickets are free. You can just show up. And why he matters to truth seekers like myself as Dr. Bond is important, not only medically, but ethically, spiritually. He exposes how profit motivates in the organ transplantation. We're allowed to speak for this now. I'm sure organ transplantation will become another word that we can't see, hear, or taste moving around. So just keep in mind, he exposed how profits motivate the organ transplantation may lead to a hasty or manipulated death declarations, and prematurely said at that. He also challenges the use of terms like brain death that observe real psychological activity. So, in closing here for this particular TikTok, I'm going to do another one post, so maybe YouTube, Instagram, Patreon, and a lot of other places. But just keep it in mind, as a truther or conspiracy theorist or whistleblower, that's up to you to decide. But from an objective perspective, Dr. Bond is best classified as a whistleblower and ethical watchdog. Don't forget it. Not a conspiracy theorist. His views are based on his medical experience, medical documentation, legal precedent, and direct on-hand experience. However, because his conclusions challenge the mainstream and challenge the established institutions, some label him as a truther, as a conspiracy theorist. Therefore, he's made it to my show right here, News to Know 66 Cents. Check it out. He wears the badge of humility, presence, and prestige. This is Dr. Bond. Check out this podcast, and I'll get back with you right after this. Right.
Very awful things that's going on is the overdose of drugs. They get more organs now from the overdose of drugs than they do from accidents and gunshot wounds combined. I live in the state of Ohio. There are 8 deaths a day from overdose of drugs, and they have to get their organs, and they have to get them quickly, and they do. And one of the things that was excluded from brain death right from the very beginning was if there's any question about whether there's any drugs. And of course they say, well, they didn't test for any. When the people get the street drugs, it has whatever it has in it, and many times they don't even know. You can't test, and who knows how long it takes to recover. And all of those.
So some of these people may be unconscious from the actual street drugs themselves.
Yes, absolutely, and they are. And now the campaign is to get Narcans into the hands of every police.
You know, I remember when this Narcan thing was going around, he was advocating for, educating the public and the medical community about what he sees as a flawed definitions of brain death, and how they were getting these from drug addicted people who had passed away, or wasn't even passed away, had just OD'd, and taking these people and harvesting organs from these people. Give another listen. This is Dr. Bond.
And the like, I'm not opposed to that, but the Narcan does keep them alive to get to the transplant center, and then the transplant center gets their organs, and so that's part of what they're interested in.
Dr. Byrne, I got to tell you, when I thought about having you on, I've actually had a couple of nights up having listened to you, just having a rough go of it, because I thought, man, ethically, like, I do know some people that have lived because of transplants, and then I'm hearing this. I am so glad that I've had you on, because it's very upsetting to hear this. It's just like, oh my God, I mean, what the hell have we become?
Well, Dan,
I just don't even know what to say.
I am happy to see someone who is doing well after their organ transplants. Incidentally, their life changes is what happens when they get the organs, because the anti-rejection medicine causes them to have lots of other diseases, including cancer and infections and other things. And And I read an article not too long ago that 40% of organ recipients have some dysfunction of their brain, and so it isn't that they get an operation and then everything is okay. And so, but I'm happy that they continue to live. But I'm very concerned about the one that they took the organs from. Even
You got to remember, Dr. Bond is retired. He concluded a 55-year medical career just a few years ago. Though he remains busier than ever, he's continuing educational work in neonatal end-of-life ethics. And it's very important as a leader that he heads the Life of Guardian Foundation. Be sure and check that out. Based in Vancouver, Washington. He just said he was from Ohio. This is from an earlier podcast. I'm looking for the name right now. I'm not quite sure what this is. So this guy he's talking to, his name is Dan. There's a lot of information in this podcast, so check it out.
even when they give one of two kidneys, the long-term follow-up shows that the donator of one of those kidneys have an increased incidence of heart disease. And if you know about the heart in relation to the kidney for controlling our blood pressure, it doesn't surprise me because if you heart continues to make whatever it makes for two kidneys, and now it continues to do that enough for two, but there's only one. Who wouldn't think that maybe something would go wrong with the heart if they took one of those kidneys out?
No, absolutely.
So,
Dr. Byrne, I heard you talk about the fact, which was really disturbing to me, is they don't, and when they do take these organs, they don't particularly.
You know, a lot of people don't know that Dr. Brian, he authored articles and gave interviews challenging brain death for years, including one of the most famous ones. He actually had a presentation at the Vatican, linked events and Catholic venues. So check that out. I will be putting the links in the description. But just keep in mind that Dr. Brian is alive, active in the bioethics and pro-life sphere, focusing on educating the public and medical community about what he sees as flawed definitions of brain death. So opposing organ harvesting, he's totally against it, practices his views as ethically problematic for organ harvesting because of the way they do it. They don't get it from cadavers. You hear people say when he passes, when they pass, we'll get organs from them. How can you get an organ from a cadaver? How can you use technically a dead organ? They say, okay, it comes down to minutes, but who are you going to believe? Someone that you heard this from on your lunch break as you're discussing life-changing conversations? Or would you take it from a man who speaks as an advocate for the Life Guardian Foundation, Dr. Brian? We'll get back to it right here, just like this.
Anesthetize these people, is that correct?
that's correct. Now, at least that was correct for many years. They would just paralyze them. They have shown now in more recent times that it's better to give them an anesthetic because then the organs are in better shape. And so they just paralyzed them and did not give them anesthetic. But in more recent years, they've started to give anesthetic in the United States to.
And Dr. Byrne, what is an average person worth in terms of their organs? I mean, if we're talking, obviously we're talking finances here. So what are we talking in terms of value?
Again, you guys, this particular podcast, although not as formal as some of the lectures that he does, Dr. Brian participated in this podcast, an appearance in October of last year, that's 2024, where he hosted, where the host of this podcast, Sarge, discussed the fallacy of brain death and the organ procurement, critiquing standard transplant protocols, and he's going to continue with that right now, right here on News to Know.
A donor is worth between $1 and $5 million to the transplant industry, and there is no transplant industry without healthy organs. And so everybody must learn these things that we've talked. No to the apnea test, no at the organ transplant at the license bureau, and they have to learn. The other thing that I've learned through all this, understand is when a child becomes 18, then they're considered an adult. And if they don't have a power of attorney that designates their mother and father to speak for them, and they get into this situation, what I've had happen is they go to court. The young man is at college in California. His mother lives in Texas, and before his mother can even get to California, they've gone to court to get a power of attorney, and then power of attorney or the guardian is appointed, and that's another attorney. So everybody must learn when they get to be 18, they must have a power of attorney that designates their mother and father to speak for them until they get married, is what I would say. But they have to have.
Wow, this is an aggressive attack. This is not a benign type of situation. I mean, it almost comes down to who owns your organs. I mean, it almost sounds like it's the government to some degree.
It is the government
has taken control.
It is the government. Yeah, it is the government. The government's in charge of all of this, and the current system of the government is the Secretary of Health is the one who makes all of the decisions for health care for CMS, which is Medicare and Medicaid, and then the private insurance companies all follow that, and then the Joint Commission comes along and makes sure that all of the hospitals have these procedures in place. You know, all the hospitals have a policy that says that if you're unconscious and on a ventilator, the organ procurement organization is notified at that time, and all of that's in place.
You guys think about how many people were on, I don't even know if I can say that word, on the pentapaters, mentahators, air givers, where it pushes air into you. You know, I had a close family member that was just on one. I sit and stared at them just this past week, and it's very hard to look at and sit and think about the fact that, you know, if people don't have a loving family around them and they're put on these breathing machines, perhaps they may go unconscious, perhaps they may be brain dead. Just keep in mind for yourselves that this is happening all over the world, sometimes neonatally, sometimes elderly, sometimes to you, hopefully never to me. But keep the action, keep live, keep watching News to Know. We're going to finish it out right here, Dr. Brian, on the SARS podcast. Thanks a lot.
In every hospital, and the Joint Commission makes sure that it's in place. Incidentally, one of the very awful things that's going on is the overdose of drugs. They get more organs now from the overdose of drugs than they do from accidents and gunshot wounds combined. I live in the state of Ohio. There are 8 deaths a day from overdose of.
All right, you guys, we're repeating now, going on a circle. Just wanted to get that information out to you guys. Like, share, subscribe, ring my bell, post this to your friends. This is worldwide right now. They're talking about it. This is the feud that's peeling back the veil. Okay, you got to remember this guy's taking a lot of chances. I'm surprised he's not been, killed himself. I'm surprised this guy hasn't been, unalived, speaking what he spoke. Because if truth exists in layers, Dr. Brian is one of the few peeling back the layers with a scalpel instead of a sledgehammer, like a lot of us do. Admitted myself, I get into it. I'm so mad at some of the things. I'm so mad at the way people go about revealing conspiracies that you've got to remember. Have you ever calmed someone down by saying, calm down, take it easy? That never works. There's a reason that doesn't work, because you offend people. If you want to get people with the truth, use critical thinking. Remember, there's people like him. He's not just warning us about the organ harvesting that we're all talking about. He's telling us that our definitions of life and death are being rewritten like they always have. And that's something that everyone should pay attention to. Thanks for tuning in. 66 Cents, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Cash App. Donate help. 911. We'll be seeing you.